Hello everyone and welcome to the London Craftsman channel. Ryan here. So today's video is all about the extraction system for my ultimate workbench. A couple of weeks back it was about the whole entire workbench, and last week was effectively part one of the clamping system. I'm going to go around and try and do each individual machine or feature of the ultimate workbench week by week. So today is part two. It's all about the extraction, showing you how the extraction works on the entire workbench. So come around here, Bertie. Let's just get on with it straight away and show everyone what we actually use. So we're simply using a vacuum, okay? This is the Makita VC2012V, I believe. It's a simple 240 volt vacuum. It's got a simple hose that comes off. That is plugged into the wall. This is just like any other Hoover. And then we've got an extension lead coming off, okay? So this has got start-stop technology. Is it start-stop? It goes off on its own, as you can see here. So we've got it on the mode where if it notices any fluctuations in voltage, for example, you turn a drill on, whatever's plugged into the Hoover, it will turn the Hoover on, vacuum. Oh, I say Hoover. So there we go. So we've got an extension coming off of there. We're going to show you that in just a moment because everything on the ultimate workbench is plugged into this. Table saw, thicknesser, pin gun, well maybe not the pin gun. All the machines and power tools are effectively plugged into this. So when we turn something on, we turn the table saw on, or we turn the thicknesser on, or we turn a power tool on, because we've got another extension lead that comes off of this extension lead, it will turn the vacuum on. So with that said, this is the hose, okay, that goes all the way around. Let's show. This cupboard in here is effectively where all the valves are and the dust collection is. So here is a big drawer. So this is where all the dust gets kept, okay? It's a big drawer. I don't know. It's got to be about 100 litres, give or take, okay? And everything goes in there, okay? Nothing goes in the vacuum whatsoever. Everything lands in here. So this is a cyclone system. Don't know if you know, but the cyclone system is quite clever. So as the dust gets sucked, this is the Hoover going that way. As it's sucking the dust in from the ports, which is down here, I'll show you that in a moment, it goes into here, but it doesn't go up the hose. It gets whizzed around in the cyclone and drops into the bin before it ends up in the vacuum. So that's what that's what a cyclone does. It just stops the dust going in your vacuum, and it just allows you to just collect it into a box or a container. So the vacuum is here, okay? And then we've got it spurred off. It comes off here into all these valves over here. So Bertie, if you poke your camera in, you can see all of these valves here. We've got four main ones, okay? So we've got table saw, right-hand power tool, left-hand power tool, and then we've got chop saw. So whenever it's in the down position, that means it's on. Okay, so at the moment we've got right-hand power tool on because that is quite a main one that we generally use. So that's how this cupboard works. Before I actually close it up, you can see at the back we've got an extension lead. So that's the extension lead I was actually showing you at the beginning of the video when you saw the vacuum. Okay, let's try and get that in focus. So that whole strip there, that is plugged into the vacuum, and then we've got all of these coming off. So we've got table saw, we've got the thicknesser, we've got the chop saw, router table, and we've got two power tool extension leads. We've got two extension leads coming off those to be able to plug power tools into those on each side of the bench. Okay, so let's go around and show you that. Because remember, on this valve system, I've got the right-hand power tool on. So with that being known, let's close this up. That needs emptying soon, nearly full. Have a look at the top there, Bertie. You'll see holes. So we've got CTS hoses that come off. They plug directly in. As you can see here, they are brilliant. That's plugged into the plunge saw at the moment. And the reason I love these is because they're quick release, like so. So you put this adapter on your power tool, and you've got these little clips, and it simply clips in, and it's just quick release, and it swivels, no fuss. It's got lots of sizes. It adapts to anything that you possibly want. I've got a video on this, so hopefully there'll be a link in the description along with discount codes for these hoses, because seriously, they're probably one of the best on the market. And that's one end of the CTS hoses. They just plug into here. So this is left-hand power tool. That is right-hand power tool. Okay, so what that means is anyone working on the left-hand side of the bench, you turn that valve on in the valves. Anyone who's working on the right-hand side will turn the right-hand valve on. If you want to work on both, you can have both valves down, the left-hand and the right-hand power tool, and then it will be sucking out of both. But they won't suck unless you turn something on. Because remember, anything that you turn on, well, effectively, everything is plugged into the Hoover. It's got a start-stop on it. So if I turn the plunge saw on, that effectively is plugged into the ultimate workbench, and then it's going to turn the vacuum on. So let's go ahead and turn one on and just give you a little demo of what it's going to do. So we're near the vacuum, just so you can hear it turning on and off, but this CTS hose is plugged into the right hand port because the right hand valve is open. So when I turn this on, it should turn the vacuum on. Remember, this is plugged into the vacuum, but I'm going to show you how. We have got another extension lead down here, the white one. Although it looks like spaghetti junction, it's just because we've got another sander plugged into it. There's two things plugged into it. We just thought that this would be the perfect solution. So that extension goes directly to the extension that you saw behind all the valves. We've got one on the left and one on the right. It's just a simple 2-plug extension with enough slack so we can just service the whole entire side. We've got a sander, which is over there. And we've got the plunge saw over there, all plugged in. So if I effectively turned any of those on right now, it would turn the vacuum on. So yeah, let's move the plungy. And if I turn this on, if I was cutting anything, it would be sucking the dust at the same time because, like I said before, that right-hand port is open. So if I turn it on, you could probably hear the vacuum turn on. Yeah, so you heard that turn on. So that is basically how the Ultimate Workbench works. I've gone over the power tools. So we've got one of these on either side, and if we're not using it, we just tuck it in. It's just kind of like the best way, the simplified way, instead of having unsightly sockets and things screwed onto the side. I didn't want that. And everything else is the same. So if I turn the table saw on, it will be exactly the same. That is hardwired or hard plumbed in, shall I say, with hoses within the internals of the workbench straight into the cyclone and the valve system, so you can't see any of those. Maybe you might be able to see the chop saw. This is the chop saw in here. So yeah, in here we have got the chop saw. I can't lift it up. This pumps up on the scissor lift. We're going to do a video on this. Might be part 3, might be part 4. But we got hoses here, but effectively we got 2 hoses that join into one, and that goes underneath the workbench and ends up in the valve system. So when we turn this on, it'll effectively suck out all the dust out of the chop saw straight into the drawer, and yeah, it's as simple as that. So that is effectively how all the machines work, barring the pin gun. We don't do that because we've got no dust. So that needs to be plugged in manually to the wall. If we had plugged that into left-hand port, power tool, then whenever we turn on the compressor, it's literally going to turn on the Hoover, which we don't want. Also, the thicknesser, which is, sorry, that's the compressor. This is the thicknesser. We don't do anything with this because we can't put wood chips through a 38mm hose. I didn't want to work out the whole entire bench and design it around a hose like that. It just wasn't going to work with everything else, and plus you lose suction. So the smaller it is, I think you get better suction. So what I have done is I've just left this out. I simply pull out this like so. I drop it down. I use it. I let the wood chips fly out onto the floor, and then we just simply sweep them up at the end. It's as simple as that. So that doesn't need any extraction, or it wasn't worth the bother trying to design extraction around that. But we've got power tools both sides. We've got the table saw, we've got the chop saw, and we've got the router table. I don't know if I can show you the router table because that is underneath here. Maybe we're going to make that part 4, part 5, who knows. But yeah, that's exactly the same. We'll go over extraction for that another day when we get onto that tool itself. But other than that, I think that is everything covered. So with the table saw, sorry, we've got all these boards on here. It doesn't look great with all these boards. It's because we were doing some oiling. And this is the table saw. So we've got this plugged in internally with the 38mm hose within the bottom of the blade. We've also got this as well. So there are two ports. Where it says table saw at the bottom, that is actually connected to the bottom, as most table saws have an outlet there. But because we've got two ports on a table saw, we can simply take this out. It's already plugged into the right hand power tool, and then we can plug that in, albeit we've got a smaller hose, which is only like 1 meter long. And then we've got extraction from top and bottom of the table saw, but we need to just make sure we've got the two ports open within the valves. We have the right hand power tool or left hand, depending on where we're extracting for. So that's right hand, remember. And if we wanted left hand, we just plonk it in there. So we've got to have the right valve open, and then we have the table saw valve. Yeah, I think that is extraction sorted. So it's the vacuum plugged into the wall. We've got one hose coming to service the cyclone. The cyclone sucks out from all the valves. The valves are plugged into each individual tool or machine, and then all the dust goes into the box, the drawer. It's a pull-out drawer. It's really easy to get all the dust out. It holds about 100 litres, and that is it. And all the power that is powering all the tools comes from the one socket on the front of the vacuum with an extension lead, and that splits off to the power tools or to the machines. Yeah, I think that is it. I think I'm going to leave it like that because I'm going to overcomplicate it and just keep going on and on and on. Other than that, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. Stay tuned for part 3. Hopefully that's next week, unless something else is going to pop up. But I don't think so. Give me a shout. Let me know what you want to see next on the Ultimate Workbench. Part 3, what can it be? I'm a bit off the cuff, as you know. I don't plan videos. I don't script. It's just off the cuff. And hopefully I don't need to even do any editing on this one. But let me know what you want for part 3. Do you want to see all the storage? Do you want to see the chop saw being pumped up? Do you want to see the router table? Do you want to see the table saw? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you do to help the YouTube algorithm get some more views on this video. And yeah, like and subscribe as usual. Have a great Friday, people. I'll see you next Friday. Take it easy. Ciao for now.